Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, alhamdulillahi rabbil alamin, wa sallallahu ala sayyidina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa sallam. Jazakumullah khairan for hosting this excellent conference. It's very good to see so many of you here. I'm not the speaker for the next session, but I want to just introduce the work that we're doing, because it's a very exciting time right now. I actually studied, who comes to Imperial here, just by a show of hands? So probably about 50% of our audience come from Imperial. I'm a final year here, and after 6 years you learn a lot of medicine, but you learn how much little that you know as well. And that humbling experience, alhamdulillah, has inspired a lot of people. One thing that you need to realize is that as students you can do so much to help the people around you. And don't let anyone tell you otherwise. Alhamdulillah, we met Brother Shafil this morning. He's actually saved people's lives before even being a doctor. And we met Dr. Chai, and alhamdulillah, again, just by being a very inspirational human being, she's done so much. So don't let people tell you that you cannot achieve. And that inspirational morning is a good foundation of what we can learn today. The thing is, if you want to achieve, you have to up your game. Unfortunately, Muslims have a reputation that makes them look unprofessional in some quarters. For example, you have an event, it starts at 10, but officially it starts at 10, but because people are late, it starts at what time? About 10:30 maybe, or 11 o'clock. So as a Muslim collective body, we have to up our game in order to achieve positive change in our society. So that's something that you must bear in mind. And the other thing is that if you want to achieve change, focus on your sphere of influence. One of our teachers, Sheikh Hamza Yusuf, he makes this point very eloquently. If you want to make a difference to the world around you, don't focus on international politics, you know, the big things that you may, but most likely may not have an influence on. Focus on the things around you, your friends, your university, your society, and by focusing on the things around you, you can have A, an impact, but B, that starts to grow. So let me quickly introduce to you something we've started probably about, when I was in my third year, so about 3 years ago. Probably I can say safely, the vast majority of us here will leave university having never thought about bioethics, medical ethics, and the Islamic viewpoint on these topics. People, when I was in my second year, we did a medical ethics and law module at Imperial. Do they still do that in second year? They still do it? Okay, so that component talks about things like, very common things like abortion, and confidentiality, autonomy. But the way you view that is shaped by your worldview, and your worldview is shaped by your religion. So how does Islam view things like abortion? How does Islam view things like end-of-life care? You don't come across that. So what we did 3 years ago is we started an initiative to say, look, let's bring together scholars and doctors and codify their works so that we have clearer guidance on topics like organ donation, on topics like abortion, on topics like beginning and end of life. For example, permanent vasectomy. To permanently sterilize someone, is that halal or haram? If a patient asks you that question, they might not, but if they ask you that question, do you give religious advice in that scenario? If you do give religious advice, what do you do? If you don't, what does the GMC say? So on and so forth. The knowledge is out there, but it's about making that accessible. So what we've done is we've listed about 12 or 13 topics that we are going to address. Our organization is called the Muslim Healthcare Student Network. A lot of us have now graduated. So we're now evolving this organization into the Center for Islam and Medicine. And alhamdulillah, this started an initiative of a few students who've now grown, and alhamdulillah, they've done a lot of stuff. So don't let people say that you can't do things otherwise. You see this article in front of you. We didn't have the money to print it with full color and so forth. But this tells you basically the Islamic views on organ donation. There's people who support it, there's people who are against it. But alhamdulillah, from the work of the team that was behind this, the NHS Blood and Transplant has ordered 1,000 copies of these, and it's now going out into their hospitals. So things like this can help you help others. So what we've done today, and this is the first time this has happened, so the fact that you've shown concern and actually come to this session, alhamdulillah, it will expose you to things that other people have rarely been exposed to unless they go to specialist circuits. To gain Islamic knowledge, you have to be very opportunistic. When things like this come, you take them on board. What we've done is we've developed the first article, not the organ donation one, but the other one, into actually a training, like an interactive workshop. Alhamdulillah, has taken about a month or so to do, but inshallah, we'll see the fruits of that work today. It's interactive. We have a brilliant mind, inshallah, to deliver the session. Sheikh Rizwan, alhamdulillah, is a practicing forensic psychiatrist. You get to do psychiatry as a rotation later on in your firms. And if you are interested in it, you can do a specialty choice in forensic psychiatry, which is about dealing with people who have come to rub shoulders with the criminal justice system and have a mental health problem as well. So that's Sheikh Rizwan by profession, but Sheikh Rizwan, alhamdulillah, has also studied for many, many years, and alhamdulillah has been privileged to actually study in Syria as well. So he has extensive Islamic knowledge as well. He will be guiding the session today.